Hi, I'm Owen Smith, and I'm a comedian. If there's one thing I've learned in over 20 years of doing stand-up, is that comics never throw away their old notebooks.
Oh, yeah, the big notebooks, 96.
So I got a few of my comedian friends to bust out their old notebooks, journals, and tapes.
Women want 1962 courting, but haven't counted in inflation.
Sure, it's not their greatest material.
That's funny. That's how fucking stupid I am. I thought that was a punchline.
Which is exactly why I got them to perform it on stage.
I don't give a fuck if they laugh.
This is Notebooks.
Wow, this is, oh shit, Owen. I'm about to make you very happy, Owen.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Whoops, sorry. Excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thought all these got burned.
Oh, no. No. We never throw them away. No. Oh, yeah, the big notebooks. 96. Early 97, son. Oh, man. I'm telling you, comics choose the 70. Oh, this is... Ooh, 93, first book. Nah, son. Come on, fam. Hold on, man. Open that. I'm not. Come on, man.
I didn't even know I had this.
Oh.
But see how I used to write stories?
Yes.
This used to be long stories.
Come on, read one of those, man. Come on, man.
Put your hands together, y'all, for the one and only Mr. Alonzo Bolden.
Thank you. It's nice. So I know we're supposed to go to the notebook, so I'm gonna give you some background of where I'm at now. I did win last comic standing, and I've done a bunch of other shit. And 3 weeks ago, I was in Pakistan. Pakistan isn't the end of your career, but you can see the end from Pakistan. You know what I'm saying? When your agent calls you and says, "What do you think about Pakistan?" Shit is getting slow. Jesus is horrible.
No. You come on, read something, man.
I come from a traditional black family. My father was a garbage man. But I grew up in the suburbs, so I had to commute to the ghetto for the black experience. They tried to make me jealous because I wasn't poor. It was nice to have a home to go to when the violence started. Living in the suburbs made me a hero to inner city youth. But my excuses at school weren't as good because I knew my father. There was a problem of explaining I'm big because I work out, not because I just got out. You know, my first gig, I was doorman at the Laugh Factory.
No, I did not know this.
93.
Okay.
So I did the open mic, you know how you had to line up at noon? And Jamie, I was big. Jamie was like, "Hey, I need a doorman." And I was like, "All right, I'll do it." I said two things. One, I'm not putting my hands on nobody. Like, I'm not fighting anybody. And I said, and the other thing I want to do, I'll do it because I'll get spots. He said when people don't show. So that was when I learned like so much watching. George Wallace and Dom were there all the time. And George always had the pad. And he was like, always writing. Always got to have a pad. Always got to be writing. I do remember a joke from that actually killed when I did it, 10 years later on Last Comic Standing. I said that they invited me to a Beverly Hills neighborhood watch meeting to show the neighborhood what to watch out for. And then when I did that joke on Last Comic, it killed. And I was like, that was one of my first. Oh, you know what this was?
What?
This was my roast set from Last Comic Standing.
Oh,
This was the roast set I did.
I saw this.
Kathleen Madigan, I didn't know leprechauns got drunk. She lost her pot of gold on a Vegas crap table. Tammy Pescatelli, gorgeous. How about we find a back room and make your father really mad? Corey Holcomb, keeping it real while living in Sherman Oaks. I don't know how many Crips make it to the mall.
But take me back though. When did you know you were going to do this? Right.
I was training airplane mechanics, and I was making them laugh.
Right.
And it was the innate talent. I was always funny. Like when I used to work, I could make people laugh, hang out, whatever. But I didn't know I was comfortable in front of the room. And then when I started teaching, it was so natural for me to be in front of the room. It never bothered me. Like I was never nervous about it or whatever. And I would go off on these tangents telling them stories about what it was like to fix airplane. Because they were all like wide-eyed, no, I can't wait to work on airplanes. They're like, oh, you say that, but when it's 4 in the morning and it's 40 degrees out and a little damp in that plane, I think that's when you start signing shit off and saying, yeah, it'll fix it in Denver. It'll make it to Denver, you know. It's cold out there, you know. That's the first plane I worked on. I worked on that when it was top secret at Lockheed. It was a F-117 stealth fighter, and I got to entertain the troops that flew it. Yeah.
So, the first thing I had to write, this is the list of what I want from comedy. Right, so this is like the first day when you sit down in class. What I want from comedy. Number one, to make people laugh. See, I was a genius. I knew that. And I put that as number one, so I held that right. Although today, number one would be 1 million followers. Like today, funny would be like number 9. There'd be like 8 other things. But anyway, to make people laugh was the first one. To be the center of attention was the second one. To be famous, I apparently settled for well-known. An HBO special, I never got an HBO special, but I've done 2 Showtime specials. So I think 2 Showtimes equal 1 HBO.
Look at this. So people don't know, this is how you got work, man.
Right, that's how they were all.
This is how you got work. Alonzo Bodden at the Improv. Come on, man. Alonzo Bolden on Life. What was that?
Just, I don't know. This was stuff I sent out.
You would send this out with a headshot and your bio.
Oh, look, here's my Apollo Comedy Hour set.
Oh,
That was my first time at the Apollo.
wow.
I'm scared you?
Yes. Oh, I got one of these. Yes, the really recorded. Yes. The answer machine message tapes. You recording your thoughts.
This girl I was dating gave me an ad for a comedy class. And she said,
No way.
do it. Yeah, it
Where'd
was
you take it?
Len Ostrovich. Len
name.
Ostrovich used to write for Rich Jenny. He was a comedy writer. His technique was you'd tell a funny story about something that happened. And then you'd write out the whole story. And then you'd just start eliminating what wasn't funny. And so in the end, you had a story that was funny because you just started taking out everything not funny. Right. You know, that was his technique. I think I did a story about getting hurt because I remember the punchline was walk it off.
So this is the I story. So I love sports, and along with sports comes injuries. Normally injuries are a macho thing. Men don't stop playing or go to a doctor because we're stupid. Women get hurt, they go and get attention, not us. We can break a leg, and it's all we say is walk it off. And I was like that until the eye injury. I was playing basketball when suddenly an orange blur approached from the right. The ball raked across my eye, and the pain said, stop right now, lay on the floor and flop around. Oh shit, I put stage direction on here. It says exaggerate, fall on floor. That ain't gonna happen. I wrote that, right? You see it right there, right? Exaggerate, fall on floor.
Look at me giving notes. Put in metaphor. Put in metaphor. Yes. Insert metaphor. Make it funny.
Here.
I was lucky that the working as a doorman at the Laugh Factory, that was like an education.
How long did you do that from? 93 to what?
I did it for just under a year.
Yeah.
Just under a year. I remember Damon Wayans' Last Stand.
Ooh.
So Damon did this special, right? Damon's Last Stand. I'm gonna give up stand-up. I'm just gonna make movies, and that didn't last long.
No, he was back. Yeah.
But when he came back, he came to the Laugh Factory every night for a month.
Whoa.
Working a new half hour or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But I got to see him literally every night work and watched it develop. And that was like an education when you watch somebody that good take an idea and just keep banging it and honing it, and you learn like, oh, okay, I got to do that. Now, I don't do that as much as I should, or as much as I, you know.
Yeah, that's the point of this. That's the point of this show. It's like, you know, you kind of revisit where you were.
Right, like now you know how to make stuff funny, so you can look at stuff that wasn't funny.
Right,
and say, hey, I wonder if I can make that funny
Yes.
This is back during the Bush Quayle era. So Dan Quayle wants to run again, but he's afraid of a drug scandal. Seems he's hooked on phonics. Yeah, I did puns, I didn't give a shit. You guys remember who Dan Quayle is? You guys ain't old enough. You read about him in history? Dan Quayle was going to be vice president until he spelled potato with an E. Like, think about that. Think about that. That ended his political career. We now have a president who will grab a bitch by the pussy, right? Who fires the FBI director who did, like, he's president now. Back then, Dan Quayle spelled potato wrong, and they were like, get the fuck out of here. He's president, you can't spell potato. Look how far we've come.
This was the married single stuff, so I remember the personal ad bit. So this was before Tinder, kids. Personal ads had to be a man's idea. Only a man would equate finding love with finding a used car. Men only read about cars and sports, and if women understood this, they'd write ads we understand. Instead of young, gorgeous female, low mileage, high maintenance. Instead of likes quiet evenings at home, low maintenance economy model. And the ad we'd really respond to, single female, season ticket holder. God, this was horrible.
No, man. It shows all the time put in.
Fraser Smith had a show called Fraser Smith After Midnight. And it was Friday nights, and it was like the hangout show. Like there was anybody, literally from rock stars to porn stars to athletes. This is when Fraser was a big DJ on KLSX, so they would all come to this show. So Fraser heard me doing a set one night as a doorman. He's like, the doorman's funny? And he said, hey, do you want to do my warm-up every Friday? So every Friday I had to have a new 5 minutes. And that was fantastic. You know, when you're a new comic and you have to have a new 5 minutes every week, you talk about a writing exercise, that was fantastic. I had to read the news, I had to, you know, and everything. And then once you wrote it, it was like gone. Like you couldn't do it the following week.
Yeah, because the same crowd was coming back.
Oh, this is when I had the shitty car. I remember this car. This was true. My car just raggedy, 72 Datsun. You ever have a car break down, you fix one thing and other things get jealous?
The left tire went flat. I fixed that. The right tire said, fuck it, I want to plug too.
This is when I was making fun of all the different TV channels.
And now look at us, 10,000 channels.
The Disaster Channel, brought to you live from trailer parks nationwide. The Health Club Channel, pay for a season, only watch the first month. The Phone Sex Network, see fat, ugly women talk dirty. The Gynecology Channel, pay-per-view only. The Home Mall Channel, kids come to your house, sit around smoking and riding skateboards. That's actually a pretty good joke. Pretty good. Right? That's pretty good.
This was my most famous joke from early in my career. Having a woman as just a friend is like having $19 in the bank and looking at your ATM card. I got so much traction out of that joke that my corporation is called Just a Friend Inc. Wow. Because back then it was like, that's the only one that's funny.
You've always had this awareness of who you were.
I mean, honestly, my heroes, who was Chris Rock, Louis Black, George. They were all stand-ups, and their career was based in stand-up. Yes. That's led to them doing TV shows and movies. Yeah. And I was under the impression, like, oh, so that's what you do. You become a great stand-up, and the other stuff comes. Now, I've learned that it doesn't necessarily work like that. Yeah. But that's why I've always been a stand-up first. And now, in the past 4 or 5 years, I've just accepted the fact, like, yeah, man, I'm a stand-up.
Right, I gotta close on a joke. Sorry, totally unprepared here. Man, you know how nervous I'd have been back then if I was like this? Like, Like now, I'm like, I don't give a fuck if they laugh. Shit, I ain't getting paid. I've looked through this whole fucking notebook. Fuck about these people.
Hi, how was your earthquake? That's all anyone talks about. Oh, that was a 4? Nah, that was a 4.7. Did your house get devastated? No? Well, that's nice. Some say it was the wrath of God. I don't think he was angry. I think he just hadn't heard from us in a while. Figured he'd shake us up, we'll call. I got my own message from God. TV I picked up during the riots was destroyed in the earthquake. That was my best joke at that time. That was a closer. That was a closer back then. Now that was a topical joke.
TV I picked up in the riots got destroyed in the earthquake.
I was good. I had talent.
Yeah, this kid had talent. Doorman's funny? What?
That's right. The doorman was on his way.
This is great.
All right, man.
I appreciate you, man.
Cut.
That's
a wrap.
fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Say please subscribe,
Please hit subscribe
hit the notification bell.
and notification bell.
That's right. And watch some more videos in this box right here.
Want some more video and some box is right over here.
My man, there it is. Thanks, guys.